How's it going, everyone? NDSean45 coming at you from here on the couch as always. Now this week the Irish are on the road in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to take on the Pitt Panthers at Heinz Field. Now of course all of us Irish fans remember last year's showdown. A little too close for comfort for me. I'm still suffering cardiac arrest from that game. But last year's showdown was quite a thriller. It was a rough first three quarters for us in that game. Pittsburgh led as high as 20-6 at one point, and as we all remember, it took the Irish driving downfield for the tying touchdown and 2-point conversion within the final minutes of the game to force overtime. Took us 3 overtimes to beat them, and Pittsburgh came within inches of beating us last year and ruining our chances at getting to the national championship game. Thankfully, their kicker Harper missed that field goal, and honestly, this is going to sound silly, but I like to think when he missed that kick to the right, I think that was my grandparents from up in heaven just giving a little poof and off to the side. But no, anyway, last year's game was quite the thriller. Playing Pittsburgh, this is a game that the critics and the haters just love to give us Irish fans a bunch of guff for, because they look at Pittsburgh and they see that as a team that we should beat by 40 or 50 points every single time. That's not the case with the Pitt Panthers. This is a team that if you really actually do your research on, Pittsburgh has always had a notion for playing us tough. They always have, and it's they could get blown out by one team the week before us, but then when come the week that they play us, they're ready for it and they bring everything that they have at us. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything like that, but I think that's how most teams are. Is when they play us, they just want to bring that extra something to make sure that they beat us. And like I said, I'm not trying to be full of myself or anything like that, but hey, come on, if you're playing Notre Dame, why wouldn't you want to try to beat them? But speaking of which, I'm not going to say anything about J.P. Holtz's comments that he made. That talk is cheap in my opinion. The only place you do your talking is on the field. So what he had to say about us being cocky and arrogant, I really don't give two craps worth about it. But look, breaking down this Pittsburgh team, currently on the season they are 4-4, 2-3 in ACC play. Talking a little bit about some of their players. They have quarterback Tom Savage. Yeah, that's his name, Tom Savage. I apologize for the mix-up. But he's done pretty well this season. Very solid quarterback, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he's closing in on the 1,800-yard passing mark. On the ground, they're led by running back Isaac Bennett, who has closing in on about 550 yards, give or take, and about 5 or 6 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, the receiving corps is led by 2 guys that we Irish fans are very familiar with, Devin Street and Tyler Boyd. 2 very talented wide receivers, and that's going to be the big key to the game for victory for the Irish this week, is we got to shut down those wide receivers. But it's not just them. This defense, just all together, has to step up big and play their hearts out, because even though we're going to have 2/3 of our original starting lineup back for this one, we still have quite a few reserves in there that are still fresh and getting to know the defensive system of Bob Diaco. So it's really going to be, and this may sound very generic, but it's going to take a complete team effort on defense to get the job done. So all the young guys that are seeing their first collegiate playing action, like Isaac Rochelle and and all those guys, got to step up and make a statement now, because we really need you. I mean, we're going to have guys like Lewis Nix coming back, but still, I mean, we got to step it up and really get back to the way to playing the kind of Notre Dame defense that we all know that we can play. Now, I'm not really going to compare our defensive performance against Navy to what our performance against Pittsburgh could be like, because thank God Pittsburgh is not an option team. I mean, that option, as I've said in the past 2 videos, is such a... I hate playing against it. It is a bunch of... I can understand why Ohio State is never going to schedule Navy again, put it that way. But that's the biggest benefit that the Irish have in this game, is it's back to to facing a normal offense, no option, none of that garbage. So I really do see us, despite the fact that Pittsburgh does have a lot of offensive weapons, I do see us matching up pretty well against them in all phases of the game, defensively that is. So we really should have no problem shutting them down. But again, it's going to take, with all the backups that we have playing, it's going to take a big, major team effort to make the stops, and guys just have to step up and make plays. It's simple as that. Offensively, against their defense, I'm going to give Pittsburgh a lot of credit. They do have a pretty solid defense. I think overall defense, they're number 34 in the nation. They're very good at stopping the run. Pass, I think that's going to be our best choice of attack to really get them, get the points. Because from judging by the numbers, they have struggled a lot defending the pass. So that's where I think we really need to hit them. But offensively, we just really need to be efficient and effective as we have been in the past few weeks. Tommy Reese, he's looked really good, and he's really going to have to keep that up and stay sharp against this Pittsburgh defense, because, as I said earlier in this video, Pittsburgh has always played us tough, but in particular, so is their defense. That I have to really mention, because I remember back in 2011 when we last played them at Heinz Field, I really thought we were going to blow them out. But no, what that defense did was, of course, this is when Todd Graham was still coaching them, and he's always been known to throw some great defensive schemes at us, dropping back the linebackers along with the safeties in the corners, and that's what really threw us off last year, or I'm sorry, last time around in Heinz Field. This is usually a team that does put out a lot of great defenses, and as much as I hate to say it, they've had our number a few times on it, and we've had a hard time going against them at times. But Pittsburgh, for me as a fan, is very personal, because in the last, at the start of this century, especially I think back to games like, back in 2004 and 2008, they ruined our senior day. And, nobody likes to lose on senior day, that's for sure. So we got to keep that in mind and get a little payback on these guys. Because now maybe they're not exactly a rival. I mean, like say USC or Stanford or Purdue or Michigan, but Pittsburgh has been a regular opponent of ours for quite some time now. And I treat them, maybe they're not exactly a rival, but I treat them like one. I want to beat them every single time we play them. So that's really what all this game comes down to, guys, is we just have to step up on defense and play very, very efficient on offense, and we got to keep that running game going. I would like to see Torian Folsom really just have a big breakout game this Saturday, and he showed glimpses of that last week against Navy. Now, granted, even though Navy beat Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh is a more physical team than Navy is, and this will give Folston in particular a very chance to show what he can do. I mean, from what I saw, this kid is phenomenal. His athleticism is just unbelievable. So I really want to see him break out big time. So with that, guys, I mean, there's really not much more I can say about this game. I do like our chances of winning it. I'm not going to predict a blowout score here, because I really do not see that happening. As much as I hate to say this, I think this is going to be cutting it kind of close. But I do like our chances of winning this game by at least 10. So my final score prediction for this game, just judging on what I've seen from Pittsburgh in recent years with their defense, and the fact that we do have some, as I mentioned before, some backups filling in on defense, I think the final score of this game is going to be Notre Dame 24, Pittsburgh 14. So that's my prediction for this game. That's what I think is going to happen. I really don't see us taking that much of a step back. Getting away from those option offenses. I think, like I said, it'll really give us a chance to get back into a normal rhythm of things and more familiar offenses that we're used to going up against. So with that, guys, this is ND Sean 45 signing off. Go Irish, beat Panthers.